Good evening and welcome to the Island Stats World Cup 2022 show, day 9. I'm your host, Earl Basting. Joining me as a guest is Maceo Dill. Unfortunately, this evening, Fully is unable to make it, but he will be returning tomorrow to pick up the show. But Maceo, thank you very much for taking this opportunity to join me this evening. We did miss yesterday, so we're going to review those games as well, and we're going to start off with Japan and Costa Rica. Obviously, Japan were on the heels of that victory over Germany coming into a game, and Costa Rica were on the heels of that big loss to Spain. But Costa Rica was able to get over the line 1-0. Just looking at this particular game, Maceo, Costa Rica done enough to kind of keep Japan at bay.
Well, it shows pride, right? At this level, you got to have some type of country pride. After that heavy defeat that Costa Rica took to Spain, it's obviously they've done some self-reflection and recognizing the country that they're representing and the opportunity that they have on this world stage. You know, Bit disappointed with Japan because they were the dark horses after showing the discipline and what everybody don't know about Japan. They've been on a 25-year football building path with, maybe 25 years ago, they had Zico down there building their football, right? And with their own cultural discipline that they have, it was good to see them beat a powerhouse like Germany. But it goes to show if you don't show up and put together two games at this level, you get punished. And that's what happened.
Game 2 yesterday, big disappointment for a team like Belgium, going down 2-0 to Morocco. I mean, if you look at it, Belgium at just last year, they were number 1 in the rankings for FIFA. And you get to the World Cup and you're falling to Morocco. That would be a huge disappointment for that team, wouldn't it?
Well, it's also a bigger picture happening, right? We all can say what we like. I think we're seeing the FIFA uncovered Netflix thing, the corruption that happened in FIFA. But what's happened through that, football is being delivered to all parts of the world. Everybody in the world is tuned into football. And the platform that FIFA's created is for countries like Morocco to perform like they have. And let's understand, Morocco has been to like the last 3 World Cups quietly, so they got some experience. And Belgium's aging. Belgium's best chance was 2018. Their own player in De Bruyne has said that their old team, and it showed up. It showed up that they're aging, right? And the smaller nations are coming. They're filling this gap.
Sure. Then it was the match, Croatia and Canada. Now, Canada scored their first goal of the tournament. It was the fastest goal scored in the World Cup. But they came out on the wrong end, 4-1 to Croatia. But looking at Canada's performance in their first match, and then I think they just did not have that same energy in this match. Where do they go from here?
Oh, they're on a pathway, right? They know the World Cup is going to be in Canada the next year, and they're on this pathway to building for that platform and using this opportunity to build for that platform. Their ambition was getting a goal in this World Cup. I think it's like 38 years they've not been to the World Cup and or scored. So their ambition was to get a goal. They were good for their money in the first game, right? In the first game that they played, they were absolutely impressive, right? But again, at this level, you got to put together 2 games. You got to put together a tournament. Croatia has that ability, and the Canadian coach upset the Croatians with some language that he used after the first game, and that was used as fuel to the fire for the Croatians to step up their game. So it's no surprise that this results happen. The Croatia has been to the World Cup finals, so this is not a surprise, right?
Yeah. And then everybody had their eyes on this match, Spain versus Germany. Germany had to get something out of this game. If not, it was
Curtains.
Early exit.
And they got, hey, I mean, Germany can play both ways. I mean, Spain, what gotta consider Spain as a contender the way how they can play this game. So this game was highly intellectual, highly tactical, you know, with the coaching, the different coaching styles that were happening. Germany should. They got the guy that you got in the picture there, man. He's a world class player. You know his
Hmm.
tactical skills, how he opens up teams. You know, and Germany can play a few different ways. Germany can play very creative. They can play very direct, and we know the Germans. This behavior that you see the Germans having is typical behavior. They gave themselves another chance in the last game that they're going to have to win. You know, but it's exciting how these games are panning out. Like you see the gaps in football closing, right? But still, the bigger nations have the ability in the business piece of the game, right?
Hmm. Now, I must say, a lot of people have complained over this World Cup, getting up early and not having a lot of goals to see. But this morning, Cameroon and Serbia gave you 6 goals, an exciting match,
Oh,
end-to-end action.
and you know,
Um,
Cameroon goes up 1-0, Serbia goes up 3-1, and Cameroon comes back 3-0. You
yeah.
know, Cameroon makes very inspired substitutions. You know, inspired substitutions change, but again, this talks about the quality and the gap. Like I
Hmm.
have a very soft spot for the Africans. You know, because physically, technically, they are better. They're the better players physically and technically, but it's the
Hmm.
organization piece that lets them down at times. You know, when
Right.
they have to give up goals, and they've been on a journey because they had foreign coaches, and now they've got local coaches that are learning trades from foreigners, and they're now trying to use that passion to take the country to the next level. But both teams lack some concentration in crucial moments made for an exciting game, ending up 3-3. You know?
Sure, sure. And then if you thought the goal scoring feats were over, then came along South Korea and Ghana, a 5 goal thriller. I mean, if you watch that, the last 10 minutes of the match, well, the stoppage time was 10 minutes. I think the last 12 minutes of that, the ball was in Ghana's half of the field, all but probably 5 or 6 seconds because they had to defend, and South Korea threw everything at them. I was kind of disappointed with the coach at the end of the game. Um,
Behavior.
his behavior, him thinking that because it was a corner, they should have been allowed to take the corner. Which, when time is time, is time. It's not where the ball is, what's going on. It's time, and I think what they were able to accomplish on the field, despite the 3-2 loss, I think it all got washed away with the behavior of the coach at the end of the game.
But the stakes are high. The stakes are
Mm,
high. The emotions are high. Everything's high now. Like this is shaping up to be one of the best World Cups that we're seeing with the stadiums and the controversy that's around it with the human rights acts. The stakes are high.
mm,
Everybody's watching, right? Everybody's watching, and some of these smaller nations, these younger football nations like South Korea, are having now an expectation that they fill this gap.
mm-hmm.
They have this expectation. So even Ghana, but again, we're talking about the same things with the quality world class players that are on display. Now you have to pay attention. You have to stay organized right down to the team. So Ghana
Sure.
going up 2-0 and thinking that that's enough. Next thing
Yeah,
you know, it's 2-0.
too
But
old.
kudos to Ghana to say, look, one got another gear. One got
Mm-hmm.
another gear, and they pushed to that another gear, and they're giving themselves a chance. They're giving themselves a chance of qualification through, getting into the second round.
The third match of the day, a highly anticipated game because people wanted to see what Brazil could do without Neymar. And they were able to get away with a 1-0 win over a very disciplined Switzerland side. I mean, every time Switzerland lost the ball, I'm pretty sure there were probably 15 guys behind the ball because they made sure they were behind the ball, set up, taking away the avenues that Brazil like to play. They let them play wide. Sure, go ahead and play wide, but when you come down this middle, we're here to block you out. So
But
kudos to Switzerland, but Brazil had that one today.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what we talk about in our local football being hard to beat, right? Being
Mm,
hard to beat, and Switzerland was hard to beat. And helped Brazil to 1-0. As I mean, the only thing about this, you watching Brazil play is also treat the quality of players they got on. And
yes,
what we also have to recognize in the way that Brazil play very expensive, they don't give up opportunities to be beat either.
right.
So their defensive racket, we have to speak highly of their defensive racket. It's going to be a
Mhm.
different task for Brazil against the Africans that are more physical. Like I've watched Brazil over the years play the Africans that are physical and have the same technical ability. The
Yeah.
Brazilians have to really get clever to win those games. You
Hmm.
know, whereas I'm not so sure they're going to have all of the ball against the Cameroon. That's going to make for an interesting game, especially since Brazil's qualified.
Qualify. Yeah. Yeah. How do they set up now?
Yeah.
That's going to be the key. Yeah. And the final match today, Portugal coming out on top 2-0 over Uruguay. Portugal do enough again to get by. Two late goals, but Uruguay bit disappointing today.
Yeah, Uruguay, an Asian country. Suarez.
Hmm.
You're still relying on Suarez. They don't seem to have you know quality at this type of level that they once possessed. Uh, and Portugal, for me, Portugal has to be considered a contender. They have quality in their team, and they have an experienced player in Cristiano Ronaldo that is
Hmm.
being managed. He does 70 minutes out of the game, 75 minutes, and he has to come off. So he's being managed, and we know he's quite capable of being in and around goals all the time. And
Yeah.
you got 7 to 8 other world class players. And Bruno Fernandez, you got Ruben Neves that plays for City. So you got world class players that are around them. So they have to be considered a contender. And they won the European Cup before. So we would know with Cristiano Ronaldo where he is in his career that he's highly motivated
Hmm.
to shut down the rhetoric about his ability and his retirement.
Yeah.
And he'll motivate his team too. And I think the Portuguese are very motivated to do well at this tournament.
Right. Now, starting tomorrow, there's double headers because it's the final round of the group stages. And at 11 o'clock, we shall see Ecuador and Senegal first. Um, your thoughts on this particular game? Because
This
there's a
is a
lot at
hot,
stake now.
yeah, this is a hot one, right? Ecuador has been a surprise package. In the first game that they won, they drew the second game with Holland.
Hmm.
And this group is still wide open. Senegal, again, they've been on a good journey. They lost their talisman player in Mane just before the tournament. I would have liked to see what they look like with him because he's the one
Hmm.
that can get certain opportunities across the line. He's a world class, right? But
Right.
Senegal totally dominated the Holland team. I think they'll dominate this game. My
Right.
my guess is that Senegal can get this one across the line and they can push themselves into the later stages of this World Cup.
Yeah, if we look at it right
They're
now, Ecuador have 4 points, Senegal have three,
yeah,
and the Netherlands lead the group with 4 points as well. So,
right.
tricky situation for Ecuador and Senegal because Ecuador is going to play hopefully not to lose, but Senegal have to win
Have to
if
win.
they want to progress.
And
Yeah.
this is where they're comfortable, right? I think this is where a team like Senegal is very comfortable that they just have to go. They have to go
Hmm.
for it. I don't think they're very comfortable in managing a game when
Hmm.
maybe they're up 1-0 or 2-0 and they have to manage the game. But if they just have to play based on ability
Hmm.
and motivation, this is where they're very dangerous. This is where they're a dangerous country. You know,
Sure. The
you know,
the
they're
other
physically
match,
they're physically stronger than these other nations. Like those
right?
players are physically stronger and technically better.
Mm. The other match at 11 o'clock is the Netherlands playing the host. The host have played their first two games. They've scored one goal. They've conceded 5 goals. They don't have a point, but they're going to want to end giving their fans something to be proud about. But I think the Netherlands really have just too much firepower, and they're going to want to win this group to go into that next round. Your thoughts on Qatar and Netherlands?
Yeah. Hope and motivation and is not enough for Qatar. It's not enough for them coming into their first World Cup at the level of some of these countries now. And Netherlands are at a level. They're always at a level. I think they're gonna win this year. To be assured of their place in the next round.
Yeah. Then the 3 o'clock matches. Obviously, we know these two teams, Iran and USA, they have enough issues off the field. But what do you think about on the field for this particular match?
Oh, Iran's been to the last 5 World Cups. And the last time these two nations met, Iran beat them.
Yes.
And quietly, we don't know a lot about their football into what we're seeing now, how they've been performing, how they play.
Right.
We don't learn enough about their football till we get to the World Cup, right? This is a difficult one to call. This is one of the difficult ones to call because the USA, they're not been bad for they're not been a bad outfit. But I actually don't think the USA at this point in their growth in football have the type of experience to win this game.
Right.
I don't think they have the type of experience to win this game. They're entertained. Like even against England, they entertain. And the game before that, they did entertain, but they are not showing me they have the experience to win these games. So
they've only conceded. If you look at it, United States have only conceded 1 goal, but they've only scored 1 goal in this tournament. Where Iran have scored 4 but conceded 6.
Yeah.
So there'll be a concern for Iran leaking goals, but there's also a concern for USA scoring goals. As you've already indicated, they play well, but they don't create a lot of opportunities, clear-cut opportunities to score. Now, USA will have to attack if they want to advance because they have the 2 points. Iran are currently in second with 3 points. So it's all to play for the United States if they want to progress to the knockout stage. And as you had already indicated, Iran have been to the knockout stage. So, this one here should be one fun game to watch. Come 3 o'clock tomorrow.
It also goes down to the hidden motivation. Iran, I mean, we know that in the first game that none of the players sung the national anthem because of the human rights issues that are going on in their country. And I know they will be wanting to use this as players when they got something to play for like that. Like we could talk about our local team, Danny Tom, and somebody died in their team and they have something to play for. Now Iran's got many people with issues in their country. So when they got something like this to play for, that I think that's the edge.
And the other controversy was the fact that the USA posted a picture of the Iranian flag without the symbol in the middle, and that got a lot of political uproar. So they have that as well to fuel a fire. So
this fire is definitely fuel, man.
Sure. Final game tomorrow at 3 p.m. It is the British battle, Wales versus England. Now, as we know, mathematically, England are through in this group.
Well, England can lose by 4 goals. So England, if Wales could beat England by 4 goals and the results go the other way, then England is in trouble. We know that's not going to happen.
Well, the only other way would be, no, because Iran have 3 points. So if United States beat Iran, United States move on to 5, but Iran's still on 3.
And England's got what, 4 points?
England have 4, Iran have 3, United States have 2, and Wales has 1.
Right.
Wales can actually catch England, yes.
Yeah, they can, but they would have to beat. Wales to catch England would have to win by 4 goals.
6 by 6. So they're -2 now.
Right. So they would have to, it would have to be a big score, which
Yeah.
I can't see. England is just about assured to get through.
Spot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
I suspect.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how I've been reading a lot of or looking at a lot of the comments from the English fans, and it wasn't what 2 years ago that they were in the European Cup final
Yeah.
with the same coach and everything, and now that everybody's doubting the coach, and I'm saying, but he's taken you further than anybody else of late. And the minute things are not going your way, you all want to get rid of the coach because you all think you're better.
Well, yeah, that's fair for you, right? But you're right. I totally agree. Like, I mean, the England fans are pessimistic at best when it comes to. But this guy has changed the dynamics and the fortunes of the England team. We can talk about whether we like how they play or not, but they are the new Germany per se.
Yep.
They are becoming a tournament team, and they're going deep into tournaments, and they have experience of going deep into tournaments.
Yep.
Harry Kane has not scored. We know that he will score.
Yeah.
If he keeps playing, he will score. And I think this game is just the motivation that England need to break out of the shell. And they beat the first game 6-2. I mean, that's a big score. And it was good. It was always going to be difficult for the England as a country to get up to play America. That was always going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It was going to be difficult for them to get the motivation because America is not that type of powerhouse, right?
Right.
When it comes to football, yes, they're trying to do that, but it's always going to be difficult. And America played out of the socks against England, and England played at 50 to 60% and still got a result. But this is a different battle. We know what this battle is going to be, right? And England's going to be motivated for this one.
This is the battle. This is the battle for Britain.
Yeah, this is the battle that they've been having for centuries. Yeah.
Sure. Well, Maceo, I want to thank you very much for joining me on day 9 of the Island Stats World Cup 2022 show. Appreciate your time. We'll be back tomorrow night, folks, with another edition of the World Cup 2020 show, day 10, and it's Elimination Day. Round 1 of Elimination Day because it's round 3 of the group stages. So 2 teams will go through, 2 teams will be out. Who will they be? We'll be able to tell tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, Maceo.
All right.